back to my channel. So I have been thinking about making this video for a very long time, so I thought this time of year would be the perfect time to sit down and kind of talk to you guys about my postpartum journey, how I lost over 65 pounds, and just kind of my journey on how I got to this place. My husband and I have been living a ketogenic lifestyle for almost 2 years now. It has been quite a journey, and it's something I kind of wanted to talk about and then continue making videos on this topic going forward. It's something that is extremely important to me and something I'm really passionate about. So I just want to kind of share my experiences and any knowledge that I've gained along the way with you. I will definitely continue doing some fashion and lifestyle content, but this is also going to be something I really want to incorporate this year as well. So I figured I would just kind of start right from the beginning and kind of bring you through my journey until this point. Some of my upcoming videos will be way more specific to a ketogenic lifestyle and kind of what we eat, different snacks I love, food I love, different things like that. So if you guys have any suggestions on things you'd like to see in particular, please leave them in the comments below. But this video is just really going to bring you through my journey up until this point, and I'll dive a little bit deeper in future videos. So like I had mentioned before, I have been conscious of my weight since as early as I could remember. Like I have memories back to like 3rd, 4th grade and worrying about what I looked like and realizing that I did look different than other girls. I was definitely a little bit chubby, and it was something that kind of progressed as I got older. A huge change for me was probably around 12. My mom had passed away, and that's kind of where I think things really took a turn for the worse. I was already a little bit on the heavier side, and when she passed away, food definitely was something that I would turn to kind of comfort the feelings that I was having. I can remember, I had moved from living in Massachusetts and moved to Florida to live with my father, and I have memories of just binge eating like the craziest things. I can remember getting like one of the small cheesecakes and almost eating the whole thing in a day, and I was drinking tons of orange juice and cereal. Like Frosted Mini Wheats were my favorite thing to eat. I could probably eat those for lunch and dinner, so very high carbohydrates, a lot of sugar in my diet, and I just didn't know. I didn't know anything about nutrition, and I really packed on extra weight, and it was something that was really hard to come into a new school, a new town, a new state, and be so uncomfortable with my body and dealing with all these emotions that I had. So my freshman year was horrible. I used to sit outside the lunchroom and eat lunch all alone, and it was just a really sad, dark year. And I remember going into the summer of my sophomore year of high school, and I remember picking up like a Shape magazine and going through it and kind of seeing things about diet and nutrition and workouts, and just deciding like, this is it. This is the time that I'm gonna make the change. So right around that same time, my stepmom ended up joining Weight Watchers, and it was something I asked if I could go to with her, and that was hugely life-changing for me. If you're not familiar with Weight Watchers, it's evolved throughout the years, but back then it was a point system. So depending on your weight and different factors, you got a set number of points to eat for the day, and you had to make those points work. And so it really taught me about maybe choosing not to drink a glass of orange juice and eating food that would fill me up instead, or eating more vegetables because they were 0 points if I was hungry, and just kind of learning about calories and how different foods affect your body differently, and really filling up on things that are less points so you're not like starving hungry by the end of the day. That summer, I ended up doing Weight Watchers, and then I started rollerblading, and it was something that I was going into a sophomore in high school. I didn't have my driver's license, so I was home alone all day, and that was just kind of my thing. I would go out and rollerblade, and I had started Weight Watchers, and it was just such a transformation that summer for me in my mind and my body, and it really began my passion for fitness and like nutrition. So throughout high school, that was always my outlet, was working out. I wasn't like crazy in shape or super skinny. I was probably just average, but I was just much happier with my body, and I loved working out. It was something that I like always made it a point to do. It was always my stress reliever. So I worked all through high school, and every day after I got off work, I would head to the gym, and it was something that really made me so happy and got me to a really good place. So once I graduated high school, I moved to Orlando to go to school, and shortly thereafter, I was in a really bad car accident. I ended up fracturing my pelvis, and that was something that really set me back. So I ended up in the hospital for a few weeks, and then in a rehab hospital for a few more weeks. I ended up having to move back home because my apartment in Orlando was on the second floor, and I was no weight bearing on this leg for 6 months, so really meant no working out. And I had a boyfriend at the time that was back home, and you know, I started eating whatever he was eating, not working out, and again, the weight crept back on. And I remember kind of none of my pants fitting and feeling really uncomfortable, and just that feeling again of like unhealthy and not myself. And I remember like my go-to was to go back to Weight Watchers. So that's what I did. I went back to Weight Watchers, went back to the meetings, and kind of got back on that journey, was able to start using my leg again and working out, and kind of like got back to myself again. So around that time, I met my ex-husband, and we ended up getting married and all of that. And so through all that journey, he was really into fitness, so that was a huge part of our lifestyle, and everything was really good. And then I got pregnant with my first son. So I was really young when I got pregnant. I was 22, I believe, so very young, so my body was a lot different then. With that pregnancy, I probably put on around 45 pounds, so more than you're really supposed to, but it wasn't anything crazy like I did in my last pregnancy. So life really changed for me once I had him. Shortly after having him, I started feeling really not well. And I didn't really know at the time if it was just because I had just had a baby, I wasn't sleeping, I was breastfeeding. You know, I never had a baby before, so I wasn't sure how you were supposed to feel. It made sense that I was feeling so tired, but it was like a tired I had never felt before. Along with that, I was having tons of stomach issues, stomach pains, super dry skin, just all of these symptoms. And my doctor sent me in to go for a colonoscopy. And I remember laying there kind of like in that twilight, and him saying to me, wow, there's no way these results can be right. And he was looking at my blood work. And in that moment, I found out that I was severely hypothyroid. So to give you an idea of how it all kind of works, your thyroid levels should be somewhere around a 0.5. And at the time, my levels were like at 110. So severely hypothyroid. I had no thyroid function, no thyroid hormone running through my body, and it really explained all of the issues I was having. So once I kind of learned that, right then the panic started kind of kicking in for me. If you knew anything about hypothyroidism, it's something where your metabolism is very slow, and even on medication, people still have a really hard time losing weight. And that was a huge fear for me. I didn't want to go back to the way I used to feel, and I still had this baby weight to lose, and getting that diagnosis was really devastating, and to realize it was like something for the rest of my life that I was going to have to deal with. So like I typically do, I dove into research on what I could do to give my body the best chance it had. And a lot of the research I came across was to really almost act like you're a diabetic and really watch the sugars and the carbs that your body is eating, because they will easily store them for fat. And so that was kind of my first little taste into, back then it wasn't called the ketogenic lifestyle, but it was, I think back then it was like South Beach and Atkins was kind of going on. And so I decided that with my thyroid diagnosis, that was kind of be the journey for me. And it was really successful. Between breastfeeding and following kind of a modified Atkins, like South Beach diet, I was able to lose all my baby weight and more. probably to the point where I kind of went to the other end. I was really so concerned with gaining weight and being overweight again. I think I kind of overdid it and even got almost too skinny for my body. And it was something I was obsessed with. It was a huge fear of mine, and I kind of went down the other end. So right around that time where I had gotten to probably the skinniest I've ever been, I ended up going through a separation and a divorce with my ex-husband. I was kind of in this strange place again, feeling just really lost, and the person I was with at the time was talking about getting into fitness competitions, and I thought, oh, like this is the perfect thing for me to do to really get focused again and kind of challenge and push myself. So I decided to start competing in fitness competitions. So if you're not familiar with fitness competitions and how that kind of world works, for women there are 3 divisions, and I was at the least muscular of the categories, and it was called a bikini division. So kind of picture the ideal bikini girl, like that would be a professional. It's kind of like on the Fitness magazine, so not overly muscular, very lean, showing some muscle definition. So for me, it was a huge challenge to get into shape to participate at that level. So I had a fitness coach who was giving me a diet and workout regimen to follow. It was extremely strict, very, very strict. Literally no fat in my diet, very low calories. I was doing cardio twice a day, 45 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes at night, plus weight training. It consumed my whole life. It was extremely obsessive, and I had to eat 6 times a day, very, very small portions. I was starving and obsessed with food all of the time. I typically got 1 cheat meal a week, and it was something I thought about all the time. And then when I got it, I would binge and feel horrible after. It was probably the worst I've ever felt, but probably the best my body ever looked, which is super ironic. It was a journey that I was on for actually quite a while. When I was preparing for shows, I would be full in, and just obsessed with it. And then when I would take some off time, I would just tank so quickly, put on weight so fast, and I was just in this really ugly cycle and relationship with food and my body, probably the worst that it's ever been. And that's something that really affected me for many years even after I stopped competing. So to kind of fast forward, I decided that way of competing was just not the proper way for my body, and there had to be other ways. So again, I started researching, and I came across a second coach that I used who was amazing and kind of taught me the if it fits your macros concept. And for me, I think that can be an amazing thing for some people, but for my mentality and the way my relationship with food, it was kind of just another version of that old lifestyle. It was an obsession with food again, of counting my calories, what I'm gonna eat next, and it made me really unhappy and really obsessed with food and my weight and weighing myself every day. And for me, that is just something that it's just not a way I can live, and made me really unhappy and have a really negative relationship with food and my body. So that obsession with food kind of continued for quite a while, kind of even into when I met my husband now. When we met each other, we both had that passion for fitness and nutrition. My husband and I were living a really healthy lifestyle, but it was something where we would kind of eat really clean and then binge, and then eat really clean and then binge. Fitness has always been something that's really important to us, so we always continually worked out, but our diet was just all over the place. We would go on these kicks where I would cook really low fat, like chicken breast and roasted veggies with no oil and that kind of thing. And then we would go out to dinner and eat like tons of sweet potato fries and ice cream, and just up and down, and neither of us felt very good at all. So we just kind of were on that path right up until I pretty much got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, it was something like I can't even explain. I don't know if it was my age or what it was, but literally from the minute I found out I was pregnant, I was packing on weight so quickly. And it was so hard because I was so sick and nauseous, and all I wanted to eat were carbs to like kind of settle my stomach. And my body, for whatever reason, probably something to do with my thyroid, just put on the weight like crazy. And from the get-go, I was so insecure through my whole pregnancy. We took a trip to Italy, and I just remember looking in the camera after getting photos taken and just starting to cry because I had already put on so much weight in my arms, like everywhere. I just gained so much weight so quickly, and that's just kind of how it progressed through my pregnancy. You know, I remember going into the doctor's offices and not wanting them to tell me what my weight was, or not looking down at the scale, because it was just so upsetting to me. And I remember the day going in for my C-section and getting on the scale and seeing the numbers 205 and knowing I had like crossed over that line. That was just a really, really hard day. And, you know, everyone says, well, so much of it is the baby and water and blood and all that, which of course some of that weight is, but I got home and I remember getting on that scale and still seeing like in the like 189 or something, like not a lot of weight had gone, and realizing I have this daunting task of losing all of this weight, and how am I going to do it with this new baby? And you know, so that kind of began our journey in this direction of a ketogenic lifestyle. So one of the first things I did was join a baby boot camp, which is local here. They have them throughout the country, and it was an amazing thing for me to do. You bring your baby with you, and where we worked out was outdoors, and it was just a really amazing experience. I met some great girls and like built some great relationships. So I had that support of almost like a mom group. But I was able to have my baby with me and get these amazing workouts in. So shortly after I joined Baby Boot Camp, there was a fitness challenge happening, and it was something that I was like going full in for, and I really wanted to work to get this baby weight off. So some of the goals I chose to have for this fitness competition for myself were to completely cut out gluten, dairy, and sugar. So therein began my early journey into the ketogenic lifestyle, and I really, really stuck to it, and I lost almost a majority of my baby weight through that like little fitness competition. I really stuck to it. I set these goals for myself, and I ended up winning it in our little group here, which was a great added bonus, but the real win for me was kind of just getting myself back to feeling really good and just seeing how positively my body responded to eating in that way. So during that time, my husband was kind of going through something with his grandfather and Alzheimer's, and we just started researching more about the genetic effects of Alzheimer's, and ended up watching this documentary. I will link it in the description box down below. The name of it I can't even think of right now. And the video was really about living a ketogenic lifestyle and how it has changed so many people's lives, gotten rid of type 2 diabetes, helped people fight cancer. It's just reversed so many things for so many people. And it was something where him and I both agreed this was something we really wanted to try. So that kind of began our journey with the ketogenic lifestyle. So we definitely had a huge learning curve when we first started out like on our ketogenic lifestyle. At first we were like adding butter to everything, tons of bacon, and really living like an unhealthy version of the ketogenic diet, which is what I think a lot of people are doing, and they're really not getting the benefits of what the diet can be. They're still having a lot of symptoms and really not feeling that well. And for us, it took some time to kind of learn how to navigate through it all. It has been almost 2 years now, and it is 100% just the way we live. And for me, that is the biggest change. It is the healthiest I've ever felt. It is the best relationship I've ever had with food. I literally do not think about what I am eating ever. I don't obsess about food. I just eat when I'm hungry. I know what I can eat, and it has just been really the best thing for us. And I really don't see us ever eating any other way. just how we've gone through the process has just evolved a little, and I've learned tons of tricks along the way, foods that I love, how to kind of deal with cravings and things like that, and just navigate my way through the ketogenic diet. So in future videos, I definitely want to talk about that and let you know little tips and tricks, recipes that I love, kind of sweet snacks that I love, savory snacks, things like that, because there is so much out there now, and there are different ways to kind of live this ketogenic journey. So our journey through this ketogenic diet is just evolving every day. It's something where the more I learn about nutrition and different supplements and things like that, it's only improving for us. It's something you don't need to do all at one time and, you know, get as deep as we are right now. It's been a journey, like I said. I think the biggest thing is to just start this lifestyle and learn as you go. You don't need to have everything in line to transform your life. You can just make the first steps and just keep going, and you will get stronger and better as you go. It can be so overwhelming, especially when you overhaul your life to the ketogenic lifestyle. It can seem very overwhelming, but I can tell you, you will quickly feel so amazing that you will never want to go back to the way that you ate before, and you will stop having cravings for certain foods, and it will be an easy lifestyle choice that you don't even think about. So that's something that I really want to help anyone who is interested in beginning this journey. So please let me know any questions you have in the description box down below, or any future videos you want to see from me first. I'd be happy to make those. There is just so much I want to share with you guys, so I hope that this video was kind of helpful to let you know how my journey has gone to this point. It has not been an easy thing, and it is something I will always have to work at in my life. And I think everyone, no matter if you're naturally skinny or not, your health is the most important thing, and what you put in your body should be one of your very top priorities in life in general. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you are not subscribed, please do. I would love to have you as part of my little YouTube family. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.